Hello and welcome to Big Bold You, a show that is dedicated to inspiring everybody out there, and yes, that does mean you, to play bigger. Because we all can play bigger. I promise you, you can. To be bigger and be bolder, which means you have to step out of your comfort zone, which means, you know what, you're going to have to do some things that you're a little bit scared of and that you might not think you can do, but you can, so you can become the best version of yourself. You know, I believe with all my heart that we live in a world where it is a war between good and evil, and it's going to be that way for, I believe, a very long time. And the only way evil wins is when good people out there, and like I said, that is you, when good people out there don't do enough. Now, I am so excited for our show today. The topic is the importance of male role models, not just in male and boys' lives, but in the world in which we live. And I'm even more excited. This is probably the most excited I've been, I mean, honestly, and I love all my guests, for our guest today, Mr. Lonnie Beerman. And I just cannot tell you the impact that your book has made on me already. And you're going to be able to share with us a lot about your book. We're going to go back and forth. But before we do, I want people to know just a little bit about yourself and really how we met, because I think this is crazy how we met. So welcome, Lonnie.
Well, thank you. I'm tickled. I'm thrilled to be here. This is just something amazing.
Well, I'm thrilled to be able to showcase you and your incredible book. And we're going to really get into his book, Tears of the Phoenix. But this is definitely one of those books. It will change your life. It will change your life. I read it this past weekend, and on Thursday, I think we talked on Wednesday. And I said, I'm going to Miami for my birthday, and I'm going to read it. And I picked that book up, and I could not put it down. I could not put it down. I was bawling my eyes out yesterday when I was finishing. I was just, because it's so impactful. There's so many lessons that are taught. But before we dig into the book, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the middle son of a master sergeant, born and raised on Army bases, and when he retired, we moved on to a farm, and then my life changed from there and became different. I'm married to an amazing and beautiful Persian beauty.
She is amazing and beautiful.
And
there she is, Faye, and she's actually here with us. We just didn't tell her to come and get in front of the camera with us, but she's here with us. She's probably your biggest fan, I think.
Oh, absolutely, and I could not have done any of this without her.
And how long have you two been married?
This December will be 40 years.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, Lonnie, the next time you come back, I'm going to have you and Faye, and you're going to have to share with us how you stayed married for 40 years. Because that is in and of itself is a feat. It
wasn't easy, but you know, when you have someone like that by your side, it gets easier.
Right.
You have a reason. You have purpose, and you know, she just inspires dedication.
Yes, you know, but I think it's important, and that obviously this isn't our topic, but I think it's important for people to realize that when you do have the right person in your life as your significant other, it makes the world a difference. I mean, I'm sure that there were probably times during the process of you writing this book that you thought, oh gosh, can I keep going? Or maybe even to start it. Which did you talk to her first, or did you come to her and say, hey, I'm gonna start writing this book?
Well, I started writing it, and then I asked her to help me stay on point and to pray for me and to help guide me through it, and she has done all of that. And like I said, without her, this never would have happened.
Well, so you've been married 40 years, and you've got two beautiful kids, don't you?
Oh yeah. My oldest daughter, Christina.
I think we've got a picture. Is that Christina?
That's Christina and her husband Graham. He's a really good guy. I mean, they just love each other to death, and they're really good for each other. And my daughter spent time as a broadcast journalist in the military, in the Army.
So she probably had some tips for you today.
Oh, yeah. I went to her to get some coaching, and
yeah.
You know, and she warned me, said, well, Dad, make sure you let somebody else talk.
Well, look, here she is in the Black Hawk, right?
Oh, yeah. That's when she was in Korea. And a story attached to that is the first Super Bowl after 9/11, she was there. And during the halftime show, they showed a Black Hawk taking off with a female soldier in it, and that was her.
Wow, that's amazing.
And she was also down in Guantanamo Bay for one of her last deployments, and National Geographic did a documentary on it, and they have a silhouette of a soldier against the flag, and that was her there too.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing.
But I can't blame them. Just look how pretty she
I know,
is.
exactly. Well, with parents like you and Faye, I mean, come on now.
Yeah, well, we got a pretty cool son too. He's
Okay,
a pretty awesome dude.
let's see a picture of your son.
Well, that's Christopher and his lovely wife Anna.
Mm-hmm.
He's an assistant district attorney in Columbus, Georgia now.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
But, he's one smart guy, let me tell you.
So you have a lot of service in the military in your family, correct?
Well, yeah, I was born and raised in Army hospitals.
Yes.
My father served World War II, Korea, and a couple tours in Vietnam. I did my time in the Air Force as a jet mechanic. No battles, no glory, just twisting wrenches, but that's okay.
Hey, no, every little bit helps. And so I want to say thank you, to your family, for serving our country and for really serving us. And when we get into the book, I think so much of what is discussed in the book is how we truly, it's a ripple effect, and how we truly, each one of our lives impacts other people's lives in such a profound way. And it can be even more impactful if we're mindful of it. And that's what I love, these characters. I can't wait until we dig into these characters. But before we do, we just got to tell everybody how we met, which was crazy. You know, I've got a great friend of mine, Melissa Roberts, who owns a company called Sometimes Spouse. And she's been a client of mine. She is a part of eWoman Network. And, you know, you want to support those people that you know and you love. And I had her really basically have you, she sent you to me is what she did. She sent you to me, and you just happened to be in my home. And while you were there in my home, I was actually on the phone. And I'm going to tell everybody, I'm not this rude, okay? But I was on a work call. And I typically don't do that. Typically I'm not going to be on a work call and speaking on a work call when I've got other people there, but I was. And I was actually speaking with someone about my book. And you couldn't help but overhear.
That's true. I wasn't eavesdropping.
No, and that's exactly what you said. You said, you know what, Jens, I promise I wasn't eavesdropping on you, but I overheard you talking about a book. And then what did you share with me?
Well, I mentioned that I had written a book, and you politely showed some interest. And when I told you about what it was about, and the fact that it had been my first book, and I'd won a gold medal with it and stuff like that, you became more interested. And we spent some time talking about it, and I'm amazed that you invited me onto the show with just that first meeting. Well,
you know, here's one of the things that, and we've talked about this, is there are no coincidences in life.
And I say that several times in my book.
You know, there are no coincidences. So the people that you have in your life right now, they're supposed to be in your life. And this is one of the things I think is so important, is we're sent everything we need. We're sent all the resources, we're sent all the people to be able to really fulfill our divine callings on this earth. But either we realize it and our eyes are open, or the opportunities just pass by and pass by. And there's not a doubt in my mind that it wasn't happen chance that we met. But if you would not have spoken up and said something to me, and you know, one of the things I feel so grateful for is when the good Lord puts these people in your life and you recognize it so quickly. And there was just something about you. And when you started to talk about your book, I saw this energy. I felt this energy, and I saw this light in you light up. And you started to share a little bit about what is covered in the book. So share with people what's covered in the book.
Well, a large portion of the book is based on actual events that happened to either me, my family, or a close friend, or people that we knew. And I took the events and I wove them together. And a lot of the characters in the book are based on real life people, relatives and friends and what have you. And some of them are amalgams of those people. And just it is. I fit the event to the personality.
Right.
And a lot of I think it deals with some social issues that some people just don't bother to talk about.
Right.
And I've always thought we don't live a monochromatic life. We live a full colored life.
Exactly.
So I've been told there was a lot going on in the book. I've even been told one of the reviews I got said I had enough material for 2 books.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. But here's the thing. There's 3. It starts, I mean, when you read the first page, you're hooked. Okay. So it's like you open the book, you read the first page, and it's this little 10-year-old boy who's asking his mom, why did Daddy have to die? And you do such a beautiful job explaining and really describing things. It's like our brain sees in images. And when you read this book, and the vocabulary in this book is amazing as well. I mean, my mom is a school teacher, and she would say, if you want to really become proficient with language, read. But you do such a phenomenal job just painting the picture.
Exactly. That's what.
Painting the picture, whereas as you're reading the book, you know exactly how Frankie's mom is feeling. I mean, she's just as hurt. She's just as lost. Her husband gave her life in service for our country. And she's got this young little boy, and she's barely making ends meet.
Yeah, you paint a picture with words, and to do that, I just kind of would mentally put myself in that person's position or in that scene. If I could see it in my mind, I could put it on paper.
Exactly. But here's something that's really important that you say that, because it doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish in life. You have to be able to see it first. So, if you want to be an athlete, if you want to be a successful business person, if you want to be an author, it doesn't matter what. If you can't visualize it and see it in your head first, you'll never be able to accomplish it.
Well, it's called the mind's eye view.
That's exactly right.
You have to be able to see the end before you can start the beginning. And that's where many people will start something and they won't be able to complete it because they can't envision what it's supposed to look like when it's done.
That's exactly right. They don't see that big full picture.
And that is a gift. I mean,
well, you're a gifted author, and I want to talk about some of the topics that you so eloquently portrayed in the book. Now, you've got 3 young boys, and these 3 young boys they're outcasts basically. They're outcasts. People are not kind to them. The other kids, they're not in the in crowd, and they're one of them is being bullied. And it was that scene of this new kid from up north, Tony, that is smaller than the rest of the kids, and he's coming from the north to the south, and he's being bullied and beat up on. And then you've got Frankie, who's the little boy who lost his father at war, and he's having this inner turmoil within him because he knows he needs to step in and do something, but he's not brave enough to do that. But then you've got another kid that comes in who steps in and says, you can't do this. You can't do this, and is kind of like the hero. But that's how the 3 of them start their bond.
That's the event that brings them together.
It's an event that brings them together. But one of the things that I love so much is, to me, it really shows that we see injustice in the world all the time.
Starting at an early age.
At a very early age, the kids see injustice going on, and we as adults see injustice going on. And what are we doing individually in this world to make it a better place, where when we see injustice, we say that's not okay. It's not okay to do that. It's not okay. There's a book also called The Bully, the Bullied, and the Bystander. I don't know if you've read that book or not, but it really talks about how the bully, hurting people hurt other people. And I think you also mentioned that in the book as well, as if somebody is hurting somebody else, they're hurting deeply as well. And there are a lot of people hurting deeply in the book.
Yeah, bullies tend to pick on people because of some insignificance or insufficiency within their own character.
Right. And then you've got the people that are being bullied that they shouldn't be being bullied. And then you've got all the bystanders that are watching by. And we can't do that. And I think that you do such a great job showing the impact that one person has when they see injustice. If you'll just step in and do something, the impact that it has.
Yeah, the the bully and the bullied are kind of easy to understand. It's the bystanders that become difficult because you don't know what's going through their head. Are they sitting over there saying, ha, ha, ha?
Right.
Or are they saying, I wish I could do something? Or are they saying, I'm glad it's not me? You know, so there's a bystander is kind of a tough position to be in sometimes.
Now, so did you experience any of that growing up?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was, like I said, I grew up on military bases, so I grew up around kids that were like me. We'd make friends real quick, lose friends real quick. You can make a friend, and 2 months later, his father's transferred, right?
Right.
And then when my father retired, we moved onto a farm community, and that was like a different planet. There was nothing cosmopolitan about the school at all. And I'm not saying I'm a big cosmopolitan guy, but I'd been around.
Right.
We lived in Germany and several bases, so I'd seen more of the world and done more things. And I didn't know. I thought it was kind of cool that I did these things. But when you tell the kids in the farm community what you did, oh no, you can't. No, you're just making that up. You're lying,
Right.
and stuff like that, or they're envious of you, and they don't know they don't know how to handle it.
Well, there is a part in the book, and it's pretty early in the book, where I think it's Frankie. I think that he is one of the boys, but he's talking about how he just wants to be normal. He wants to be normal. He wants to be like all the other kids.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that point earlier, where what's so sad is being normal is not what brings you happiness, and it's not what brings you the fulfillment in life, because your power is you. And when you read and you learn about these kids, and then what's so great is you don't just learn about the kids, you learn about their parents, you learn about their family, so you learn about the ordeals that they've been through. You start to see that big full picture. And you realize how special and unique each one is. Like one of the characters, Aubrey, who is just a doll, he's in a position where he is being physically abused by his father. And I just don't even want to go in deeper because you have to read this book. When I say it's a life-changing book, and not just the impact of these boys and the male role models in their lives, but as a female, we were talking last night when we were talking about the book that, I think for women, we talk all the time. I mean, we talk to our family members, we talk to our girlfriends. I mean, shoot, we'll talk to anybody. It's like if we have a bad day and we're shopping, we're going to tell you. If we're at the mall, at the grocery store, we're telling you what's going on, right?
That's the absolute truth.
But men
we
tend
compartmentalize and hide.
You tend to not share as much, which to me, there's so many men that I know that I want to read this book. I mean, in fact, for me, one of my most favorite gifts to give people is a book. And so to me, this will be the book that I give everybody. So if you're one of my friends or family members, you will be receiving this book. You can get it on Amazon, and I promise you it is a life-changing book. It needs to be turned into a movie. Anybody that reads it, they watch it, not only are you going to be just enthralled in it, but there's a healing component in this book. So that's what I want to know more. When you wrote this book, number one, how long did it take you to write your book?
Okay.
And number two, what was the process like? And were you healed?
Absolutely.
During the process?
Actually, this was a catharsis for me. Without knowing it, I believe God put me on the path to heal myself, because you can talk to my sweet wife. I could be a bitter person at times, and since I've written this, I think I've been able to get that under control. It definitely was a healing process for me, because much of what's in the book is also, as I found out after rereading it myself, much of it was about me, you know, and things I had to get past, things I had to learn to accept and understand. And it helped me by writing it down. I like to tell folks that the boys are like three facets of my self-perceived personality. If you ask somebody else, they'll probably tell you something else. But when I look in the mirror, I see my my self-doubting and unconfident self in Frankie, and I see my spiritual, empathetic self in Aubrey, and then I see my fun-loving, carefree, you know, push-the-envelope self in Tony. I wish I was as good as as any one of the three. But
you are. Hey, you wrote a book, and this book is going to change many people's lives. So you are.
Well, as far as how long it took, this is another thing that I've always felt like it was inspired and divinely guided, and I like to attribute that divine guidance to my dear, dear brother, Bud, Frank Albert Beerman. He was there for me when nobody else was, and he helped guide me away from some bad things in life. And so he really was my fireman. He rescued me.
Now, how much older is he?
He's 10 years. He was 10 years older than me.
10 years older.
And he was gay, and that never meant a single thing to me. It never diminished him in any way whatsoever.
Right, and you touch on that. I mean, you touch on that. One of the characters in the book is Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
And Uncle Frank shares openly his sexual orientation, and that was one of the things that little Frankie was teased about and bullied for. And I think that there's so many topics. I mean, there's so many topics in here.
Well, just being a kid in a small southern town without a father was a stigma that he had to overcome.
And you know, here's the thing is, I'm for big brothers and big sisters, because I think there's nothing better than investing in children. I facilitate a mastermind, and one of the things that we do every year is we partner with a philanthropic group, and the people that we're partnered with for this year is the Nancy Lieberman Charities. And what we do with Nancy Lieberman is we raise funds and awareness so we can help underserved kids, because the kids are our future. And there's so many children out there that are in less than desirable situations. And, you know, just even the character of the school teacher, where the impact as adults that we have on children, whether they're our nieces, our nephews, a neighbor, somebody that you just see on the street, you know, we have such a profound impact on these kids. And when you go through and you look at the male role models in the three boys' lives, you obviously have one who has no father, but has a gay uncle, but he's a huge part in his life. Then you also have a father that's abusive, and then Tony's father, of course, is just really not present. Right, exactly. Present but not absent. And it really goes and shows how each one of those impacts makes on these kids' lives. And then also just the lives of the other characters in the book. So for you had made a comment that there were plenty of times. Well, first of all, you said it took you 10 months to write this book, around 10 months. And I don't know if you said that yet or not, but it's 10 months, okay?
Give or take them.
10 months to write this book that's 500 pages. And I will tell you, one of the things, I mean, and we were talking to your wife about this last night, but I love to read, but the majority of the books that I read are professional development books or self-help books, because I love to learn. I'm just, it's one of the things I'm a lover of learning.
Oh, me too.
And not that I don't read books like this a lot, but I don't read books like this as much as I read other books where I know for a fact I'm going to get some big nuggets.
You have a predetermined expectation.
Exactly, I do. But if I have a fiction book like this, one of the things that I like to do with my husband, especially if we're going on a trip, is I'll read to him. And so I started this book on Thursday, and I was in the plane, and of course I was reading it. My husband was doing work, and then afterwards, when we got to Miami, he said, "Jens, you want to start reading me this book?" I said, "You're on your own. You are on your own." Because the fact that you didn't start with me at the beginning, I cannot go back. I mean, you have to experience this. But then I think it's going to be a healing experience for him, because he moved around a lot.
There's quite a bit in this book for guys.
Well, he moved around a lot growing up. His dad was a chemical engineer, and it's difficult moving around. And so I think that there's some healing that
I'm sure he went through some of the same stuff I did, making friends and losing them and stuff. That can be rough on a fellow.
There's no doubt. And then you don't want to blame your parents or put anything on your parents, because you know they're doing what they need to do.
And they're there.
And they're there. But at the same time, as a child, you're not choosing to move around. You know, those aren't your choices. You have to live with them and deal with them. And out of everything, you become stronger. But it's difficult. So, but I told him, I said, no, you have to experience this book all on your own.
Well, my father was a master sergeant in the Army, combat engineer, and he was one of the best master sergeants the Army ever had. I heard a full bird colonel when I was 10 years old tell my mother that he's the finest master sergeant he's ever served with and stuff.
Wow.
So he was really good. He was an inspiration. He was a hero. But because of the nature of his work, the nature of his profession, he was often introverted as far as his family goes.
Right.
You know, so I like to say that, excuse me, I like to say that my father inspired me a great deal. My sense of perseverance, integrity, honor, strength, and courage come from him. But I also like to say that my brother nurtured me.
Right. And I think that's so important. What an amazing...
I was so fortunate to have him.
You know, but see, here's the thing, and I think this is really, really important, is what you just said. You need someone to inspire you, but you also need someone to nurture you.
Yeah.
And I know that when you're a very successful person, no matter what your industry is, and you sacrifice. I mean, you have to.
You do.
And so many times, specifically for men, this happens for women as well, but, you know, most men are the providers still to this day. And successful people, where they sacrifice a lot of times, is with their family.
Oh, yeah. Well, my father... He was a great man for his family, but he was also a great man for his country. I mean, he had several Purple Hearts. That's how much he gave for his country.
Right.
But his family always came first.
Right.
I know that without any doubt in my mind. All the way to the end, his family was his main focus. Without his family, I think he would have been lost.
Right. Well, and that's really how it is. I mean, our families do ground us. Our families, our relationships.
I got grounded a lot.
Oh, yeah. I did too. I was grounded all the time. I mean, and if you're out there and you know why I was grounded, don't tell anybody, okay? But it did happen. But I want you to talk about how sometimes you would sit down at 8 o'clock at night you would write all through the night till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, there was many times that, you know, I'd be writing and my wife would come to the door. I'm still here. I'm still awake, and she'd go on to bed, and it seemed to me 5 minutes later, but I look up at the clock. It's a couple hours later, and then I look back because I'd earmark where I'd started. I'd look back and see, well, I started here, but wow, I'm way over here, and I would not know where all that came from.
Right. It's just because it was inspired.
It was a divine inspiration, and I've always, you know, felt like my brother was an angel sitting on my shoulder.
Oh,
in fact, the people in the audience can't smell it, but I am wearing some of his last bottle of Old Spice, just so he'll be here with me.
I love that, Lonnie. I have no doubt that he is here with us. I have no doubt that he's here with us. I have no doubt that he helps. And you know, the neat thing is, I said I was bawling my eyes out last night. I mean, yesterday when I finished the book, several times during the reading the book. And what's so crazy is, you know, some things are going to happen. You do a great job setting it up. So you're waiting, you're anticipating. You know it's going to happen. You got your Kleenex by.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can't stop reading. You're just like, oh, you know, but even though you know it's going to happen, the beauty and how you portray what happens is like nothing that I've ever ever read, or have I ever seen. I've never in my life experienced that with the way that you just laid it out so beautifully. And that is towards the end of the book, so you do have to read the whole entire book. But when you get to that point, you're explaining something that is a very just common, normal, everyday thing that happens in life.
Yeah.
And we all have to deal with that. And we've all experienced it, and we've all seen and witnessed and watched movies and read books about it, but you will not read it or experience it the way you wrote it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, it really is a gift. This book truly is a gift. It's going to change so many people's lives. It's going to heal so many people. I can't wait for you to read this book. You have to read this book, Tears of the Phoenix. Tears of the Phoenix.
Tears of the Phoenix.
Do you have anything else that you want to add to the book before we go into Laughter is the Best Medicine?
Not really. You said it heals and changes lives. It started with me. I was the first one because it healed me, and it has definitely changed my life. It just let me put things out there that have been in me for all these years, and I just hadn't known how to manifest it or how to elucidate it.
Well, you know what? Before we jump into the Laughter is the Best Medicine, we have to. I want people to understand how just incredible this book is. And you had mentioned it earlier. You had entered the book into a contest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that, because we've got a picture that I want to show with you receiving an award.
Well, that's after I received it. That happens to be
Starsky.
Yeah, Starsky.
Starsky.
Paul Glazer from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh yeah, we know Starsky and Hutch.
And after the award ceremony, we went to.
You're looking pretty nice there.
Actually,
Lonnie.
it was before the award. Oh, thank you.
You're looking like you got your suit on. You're all ready to go.
Actually, it was before the award ceremony. My wife went to the bar, and we were waiting. We were just going to have a quick drink or something like that, quick beer or whatever. And he was sitting there, and they struck up a conversation. And she didn't know about Starsky and Hutch because she didn't come from that culture.
Exactly, that's right.
So she
didn't know.
And then she introduced me, and it's like, Paul Glazer. Why is that familiar? And then it dawned on me, you're Starsky.
But you won an award.
Oh yeah. I won the gold medal award, the Reader's Choice Gold Medal Award.
The gold medal award
in the Miami International Book Festival for general fiction. Now, I was told by some people there, I didn't really verify it, I didn't want to verify it, but I was told that another gentleman that was in that same category was a fellow named James Patterson.
Yeah, we know James Patterson, and you beat James Patterson.
Oh, so I'm told.
Yes, I believe that. I have read many James Patterson books, and I am a James Patterson fan. And if I am going to read a fiction book, that is one of the authors that I will read. But hands down, you're better.
Oh, God, thank you.
You are. And when this book is made into a movie, and I have no doubt that it will, I will be there bawling my eyes out.
In the front row.
In the front row. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. And as many of you that would like to be a part, please do. It's phenomenal. And,
Well, writing, of all the things I've ever done in my life, I mean, I sketch, I build little models. I used to do a lot of design work and things like. Of all the things I've ever done in my life, writing has always been the easiest, most natural thing for me to do. I think I mentioned to you that even when I was a little kid in school, I was writing stories that I'd made up.
Right.
In high school, I got a double A on a parody of
a double A
on a parody.
I don't think they give those out a lot, Lonnie.
No, it was in creative writing.
I don't think you can. I think, hey, if you're a teacher, start giving double A's to the really good ones. Well,
it was in my creative writing class, and I'd done a parody. I'd written a comedy parody of Quest for the Golden Fleece. So my creative writing teacher, Mrs. Greasy, she insisted on giving me 2 A's, and then she took the story to my mythology teacher, where I got an A on that. So I actually got 3 A's out of the same story.
Okay, well, I was going to say, I'm going to top that, Mrs. whatever your name is, and I'm going to give triple A's. I'm giving Tears of the Phoenix triple A's. It is a must buy. Everybody I know. In fact, I think I'm going to do something really cool where the person that shares this video and this show the most, you're going to get one of these books. All right. I'm going to make sure. So share this. If you know anybody in your life that needs to be healed, if you know anybody that is in a place where you really want to understand the importance of just making a difference and how one person can make a difference, share this show and the person that shares it the most. But I got to think of something else, because you can only share it once, right? I'm going to come up with something, y'all, okay? I'm not real good at this kind of stuff, but I am good with follow through. So I'm going to come up with a way that you can win this book, because it truly is, it's a life-changing book. So don't go anywhere, Lonnie, and don't go anywhere right now, but we are going to transition into our segment that is called Laughter is the Best Medicine. And let me tell you, I'm going to set this up just a little bit. To me, laughter is so vitally important in our lives. We have got to laugh. I mean, I want everybody out there laughing and cracking up. And Nick, you know who you are, Nick. I've got some really funny things that I've got in store. I'm going to start doing some videos. I want you to send some videos in. But the Laughter is the Best Medicine video that I chose for today is actually one of our good friends, Jamal Adams, who plays for the Jets. He actually grew up with us, he and his father. And this is what made me think of it, is Jamal Adams' dad, George Adams, played for the NFL and was not only a phenomenal father figure and male role model in Jamal's life, but he has been an incredible male role model and father figure in my own 3 sons' lives. Incredible person. But this is Jamal Adams, who plays for the Jets, and let's see what a positive role model will impact on a child's life. What I love about that video. Okay, number one, I know Jamal, like my husband was like, Jens, I don't think everybody's going to think that video is that funny. I watched it. I could not stop laughing, because here Jamal Adams is, he's a superstar in his own right. I mean, he's an incredible athlete, an incredible football player. He's a leader. He's a great person. But one of the new rookies that just recently got drafted, he's over there, and all these kids are, hey, Sam, you know, and so Jamal goes out there, and of course, he's doing something so silly. So this is my challenge for everybody. What I want you to do is I want you to go out, and I want you to just scream and yell for somebody that you know, and just jump up and down. So for instance, I mean, my husband's name is Dave. I'm going to go home tonight. I hope he's not watching right now. Okay. But I'm going to go home tonight, and I'm going to have somebody that's at my home video me just screaming and jumping up and down, Dave, you know, because everybody deserves to have somebody, at least one person, jumping up and down and cheering your name. And you just doing that, you're going to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to die laughing when you're doing it. The other people are going to think you're crazy, which is really where the fun comes in for me. And you're going to enjoy it. But, you know, more than anything, what we want you to do is we want you to play bigger, and we want you to step out of your comfort zone so you can become the best version of you. And Lonnie, before we sign sign off, I just want to thank you so much. I want to thank your beautiful wife, Faye, who's in the studio with us, as well as thanking Ziggy for all the things that he does.
Thank you, Ziggy.
But just thank you for the sacrifice that you made for writing this book, for the hours that you took away from your own personal life and your family to put into words things that are going to heal other people, for paying to get this book published, because you are actually paying thousands of dollars to give people a gift. And I just want to thank you for that, because this is playing bigger. It is stepping out of your comfort zones. And not only is this helping you become the best version of yourself, but I promise you reading this book is going to help you become the best version of yourself. So until we meet again, do you have any closing words?
No, I thank God, I thank my wife, and I thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in and watching. Please do share our video. Send us those crazy videos that you have. Buy this book on Amazon. And if there's any show topic or a guest that you're interested in hearing more from, please let me know at jensjohnson.com, and I will put that in the comment box. Please let us know what you enjoyed and how we can serve you better. Until we meet again, be big, be bold, and be you.